the story of Earth's earliest hunters and how they shaped evolution. For billions of years, life on Earth was a placid, almost pastoral affair. The world's oceans teemed with simple organisms, microbial mats carpeting the seafloor, and strange frond-like beings that waved gently in the currents. These were the Ediacaran biota, an enigmatic collection of life forms that filtered nutrients directly from the water or absorbed them through their surfaces. There was no chasing, no biting, no tearing of flesh. The world knew nothing of predation. It was a garden, but a garden without a fox. Then, something changed. A new kind of creature emerged from the evolutionary crucible of the Cambrian period, an animal that would forever alter the rules of existence. This was the dawn of the predator, and it would unleash an arms race that continues to this day, shaping the very fabric of life on our planet. To understand the revolution that predation brought, we must first journey back to the world before it, the late Ediacaran period, around 575 million years ago. Imagine an alien seascape, silent and slow. The dominant life forms were soft-bodied and stationary. Creatures like Dickinsonia lay flat on the microbial mats, absorbing food, while the quilted Charnia stood anchored to the seabed. These organisms lacked any obvious defenses. They had no shells, no spines, no means of rapid escape. Why would they? There was nothing to defend against. The greatest danger was being dislodged by a current or buried in sediment. This long-lasting peace, a tranquil reign of passive feeders, created a stable but ultimately stagnant ecosystem. Evolution was happening, but it was moving at a geological pace. There was little pressure to innovate, to develop complex sensory organs, or to build specialized bodies for movement. Life was simple because the challenges were simple. Then came the Cambrian explosion, a period of unprecedented evolutionary diversification that began around 541 million years ago. In what seems like a geological blink of an eye, the fossil record erupted with a dazzling array of complex, new animal forms. Suddenly, the oceans were filled with creatures that had hard exoskeletons, jointed limbs, and distinct heads with sophisticated sensory organs. This is where we find the first definitive evidence of hunters. Small shelly fossils from the early Cambrian, known as small shelly fauna, begin to show something novel and terrifying. Drill holes. These perfectly circular perforations are the calling cards of early predators, the first evidence of one organism actively boring through the defenses of another to consume it. These tiny assassins, perhaps some form of protomollusk or worm, were the pioneers of a new and deadly lifestyle. They may have been small, but their impact was immense. The appearance of these drill holes marks a fundamental shift in the evolutionary game. For the first time, being alive meant being on a menu. This new predatory pressure sparked a frantic evolutionary arms race. Survival was no longer just about finding food. It was about avoiding becoming food. The static soft-bodied Ediacaran fauna quickly vanished, outcompoted, and likely eaten into extinction by the new Cambrian fauna. In their place rose animals equipped for a more dangerous world. The trilobites, which would become one of the most successful animal groups of all time, appeared with their tough, calcified exoskeletons, direct response to the threat of being crushed or pierced. Some species could even roll up into a defensive ball, much like a modern pillbug, protecting their soft underbellies from attack. Other creatures developed spines and spikes, turning their bodies into formidable fortresses. The once peaceful seabed became a landscape of armor and weaponry. But defense was only one side of the equation. As prey evolved better armor, predators had to evolve better ways to overcome it. This led to the emergence of the first true apex predator, a creature so formidable it dominated the Cambrian seas. Anomalocaris, Tanami means abnormal shrimp, and it was unlike anything that had come before. Reaching up to 1 meter in length, it was a giant for its time. At the front of its head were 2 large, spiny appendages, perfect for grasping and manipulating struggling prey. Its mouth, located on its underside, was a terrifying circular array of sharp, overlapping plates that could constrict to crush the hard shells of trilobites and other armored animals. And perhaps most importantly, Anomalocaris possessed a pair of large, complex compound eyes. Mounted on stalks, these eyes would have given it excellent vision, allowing it to actively spot and track its victims from a distance. The evolution of sophisticated vision was a direct consequence of the predator-prey dynamic. In the Ediacaran garden, there was little need for eyes, but in the Cambrian battleground, the ability to see was a matter of life and death. For a predator like Anomalocaris ***, eyes meant the ability to hunt effectively, to distinguish prey from the background, and to calculate and intercept course. For prey, eyes meant the chance to see a predator coming and take evasive action. This visual arms race drove the development of increasingly complex eyes across the animal kingdom, a legacy that is clearly visible in the world today. The very way we perceive our surroundings, in vibrant color and sharp detail, has its ancient roots in this deadly Cambrian dance. The impact of these first hunters rippled through every level of the ecosystem. Predation drove the evolution of speed and agility. Animals developed muscular bodies and specialized fins or limbs for rapid propulsion, allowing them to chase or flee. The simple, meandering movements of the Ediacaran period were replaced by the frantic darting and lunging of Cambrian swimmers. This required more complex nervous systems to coordinate these rapid movements and process the flood of sensory information. The brain itself began to grow and specialize, a direct result of the need to outthink one's opponent. Camouflage and mimicry also made their first appearance, as creatures evolved patterns and colorations to blend in with their surroundings, hiding from the watchful eyes of predators. The entire architecture of the animal body plan was being redrafted in response to this new, pervasive threat. This relentless pressure also fundamentally restructured the food web. Before predators, ecosystems were relatively flat. Life consisted primarily of producers like algae and primary consumers. The passive Ediacaran, the arrival of hunters like Anomalocaris ***, added new, higher trophic levels. This created a more complex and dynamic ecosystem where energy flowed through multiple pathways. This complexity, in turn, fostered greater biodiversity. Predators, by controlling the populations of dominant herbivores, could prevent any single species from overgrazing and monopolizing resources. This allowed less competitive species a chance to thrive, creating a richer and more resilient biological community. The hunter, far from being just a destructive force, was also a powerful agent of creation, sculpting the very structure of life's web. The story of the first predator is therefore not just a tale of violence and death. It is the story of a catalyst, a spark that ignited an evolutionary firestorm. The emergence of hunting created a world of winners and losers, a world of perpetual innovation where the price of failure was extinction. It forced life to become more complex, more intelligent, and more diverse. The armor of a beetle, the speed of a cheetah, the keen eye of an eagle, and the complex brain of a human are all in a very real sense echoes of that first predatory act in the ancient Cambrian Sea. The simple act of one organism hunting another proved to be the most powerful creative force in the history of animal life. It turned a quiet, passive garden into a dynamic, dangerous, and ultimately far more magnificent world. This is the story of Earth's earliest hunters and how they shaped